Mark Hughes, thank you so much for being here.
No worries at all. Delighted to be here.
Very good. Mark, today we're going to talk about artificial intelligence in the specific world of training and um, customer-facing teams, right? You have built Solid Road, a company that specializes as a training platform for customer-facing teams, right? And so there's a lot going on today with AI. There's a lot going on the questions that we are asking ourselves of where does AI leave the human aspect of it? And you are um, basically taking a bold claim that AI is going to push the human element forward, and we are going to use AI to help humans get better for that, get ready for that, right? So it's an exciting conversation we're going to have, and I want to get started with the basics. What is Solid Road?
Yeah, absolutely. So I appreciate the introduction there. And even just to introduce myself to everyone, my name is Mark. Obviously, I'm the co-founder and CEO here at Solid Road, based in surprisingly Dublin, Ireland, for a change here today. And what we're building is, like you said, an AI-powered training platform for customer-facing teams. So what our tool allows customer support agents do is to practice realistic conversations with an AI, be that phone, email, or live chat, and then receive real-time performance feedback tied to custom scorecards. So we like to call ourselves the flight simulator for CX teams. So very much like a pilot learning to fly, they'll have the flight simulator. You'll have the conversation simulator in Solid Road to help you get up to speed before hitting the phones or hitting the live channels.
I imagine that when you were building this, you tried this a few times yourself. How did it felt when you were just, building this and it was becoming a reality and you were trying it yourself with, having a conversation with an AI?
Yeah, I think like everyone's probably first experience was using ChatGPT and just speaking back and forth when the first iterations of ChatGPT came out. Um, that was probably my first time where, I was kind of chatting back and forth with an AI, and it really was kind of realistic conversation. I think it was the first time that we were all like, wow, we can see the real utility here. My background then is actually kind of customer facing, go to market, sales, customer success. So having worked in different sales roles in startups like Intercom. I was the head of or regional director of a company, Chargeify, so overseeing sales support, customer success. So that was kind of the area that I had domain expertise and was passionate about. So I think that's probably where the light switch, where I was like, I could see a real use case there for training kind of sales and support agents in particular. So the first time, like we even laugh at it now when we kind of look at our first iterations. It is like the inference is really slow. We're kind of like touching the space bar to talk, releasing the space bar, waiting for a response from the AI. So that's what we kind of took a bet on early on, that we were like, these models are only going to improve, the base models are going to get better, the inference speed's going to come down. And now, like if it's anything less than like a second response, we're like, what's going on? There must be a bug or something. So it's funny how your perception kind of changes. That like over a year ago or a year ago when we first started, we were like in awe of what we were building, and now it's like we have really a high bar for how the AI responds, what it responds with, the scoring mechanisms, the inference speed, etc. So it's funny. You're kind of the goalpost keeps moving.
So is that one of what are the biggest challenges you faced and you're facing right now? And is it as a leader moving that post and asking for more, right? I mean, for the entire team, right? Yeah, we might be excited about what we're achieving today, but we want to, we want to raise the bar. What are the
Yeah,
challenges that you're facing?
I think like the big challenges for any early stage startup is really like you're kind of iterating your way to product market fit. So initially, when we actually started, we initially built kind of an AI role play training tool for B2B SaaS sales reps. Um, but what we kind of found was very much a nice to have, not a need to have. It was like, yes, we do a bit of role play training. Yes, we have kind of a bit of classroom based learning, but it's not as important. I think also given the market, like sales teams were contracting, there was actually lots of kind of riffs rather than large hiring drives. So it was actually through kind of constant like customer discovery that we really kind of found a lot of success with large contact centers, BPOs, CX teams, where some of our customers, like Partner Hero, for example, are hiring hundreds of agents a month. There's a real need to have there, because alternatively they're spending lots of trainer time in the classrooms doing instructor-led learning, doing manual role plays. And so like what we're finding is like it really is more, this tool is more fitted for large teams, large contact centers that are always hiring, onboarding, and training.
Was that something that you thought about it from the beginning, or something that you realized as you kept going? Solid Road is growing, right? And it's gaining a lot of attention recently. Was there a moment where you changed your strategy, or was this by design? You already knew where you were going?
No, definitely. I think it was like a change in strategy probably in January of this year, where we were like, let's listen to the customers that are really pulling this out of our hands. And that was the large call centers, contact centers. And I think that that's where we've kind of really found our niche, and had a lot of success. To kind of tell you a bit more about the backstory, really, like how the company even began. I met my co-founder Patrick in Intercom. We both worked there. A lot of people on this podcast will know Intercom. They're like the AI first customer support tool now for kind of, and they're looking at AI to automate away a lot of tier one support. So like forgot your password, etc., and having a lot of success with their FinBot. I think from our experience at Intercom, what we kind of were taking a bit of a contrarian view that with all this automation in tier one support, there's going to be more escalations, more difficult conversations for tier two support. So that's going to require lots more training. And it's really the humans that are going to be dealing with kind of really complex issues, like say, for example, with Uber, if like you're contacting the support team because you've been in a car crash or something really unfortunate, that's going to go to a human. That's never going to be automated away. And they're difficult conversations that people need to handle and get better at. And they only can, at the moment, they can only learn by taking those in a live environment, which we don't think is the best way to learn. Second fold, really, my last company was a company called Grad Guide. And it was a mentorship and recruitment platform for grads to land their first job as sales or customer support. And what we did was we paired these graduates with mentors a few years ahead of them on the career ladder to help them land their first job, be successful in their first job. But what I found was that this was very difficult to scale, like the one-to-one human component. We definitely saw great results by having like personalized training and having like your own kind of personal coach almost. These people did a lot better, but it was just very hard to scale that kind of one-to-one marketplace mentor to mentee or mentor to grad. That's why really I feel like AI can do that brilliantly. And I think that, yes, we've had a lot of success in the contact center vertical, and that's where the kind of strategy has changed, but like the overarching vision really hasn't changed, and that has always been personalized training at scale. Like we think that now is an age where you can provide more immersive training, more personalized training. Gone are the days where I'm just going to sign into an LMS and watch back some videos and fill out a quiz, or copy my friend's quiz beside me, or go in to take all your kind of team off the floor to do like a Zoom webinar, or to do classroom learning where you're going through a generic PowerPoint slide. Like that's gone. People learn different ways. I think the best way is to kind of like where like we see the future where it's like you're actually speaking to your kind of personalized coach in Solid Road, and you're kind of always improving that way. You're practicing conversations, you're getting feedback, you're kind of getting the delivery of content through Solid Road as well, and trying to make it personalized for each person, and not the kind of let's try capture the kind of the 80-20 for everyone. Because I might have context ahead of time. I might know certain policies already. I might be in the company 2 years, whereas someone who's net new to the business might not know the existing policies, where you're kind of just throwing a blanket over everyone at the moment and saying like everyone knows this amount or doesn't know this amount, and that's how we're going to deliver the training. And you're almost kind of teaching to the average, rather than some people can actually learn a lot faster. They know they already have that context at a time. Some people actually need more support and they need more help and guidance. So that's the kind of way we're looking at things.
I love it, by the way, and you just brought back memories of the corporate world and doing so many long trainings, decks all over the place, and an hour just clicking forward until I
Yeah,
could do the multiple option exam that I did like every 3 months, and it was the same,
yeah,
right? So
yeah.
now you talked a lot about personalized training, and I love that. How do you realize where each person is, right? Am I talking to the Solid Road trainer, the AI trainer, and just through a conversation, you are realizing what's my level? Am I doing a form first? How do you do that? Kind of understanding what level I'm in.
Yeah. And yeah, for full transparency, that's kind of like the next iteration of the product. And how we see that is that kind of conversation back and forth to set the level. Right now, the kind of level is being set by the admins or the kind of trainers themselves. So they're the ones who will build out the simulations through Solid Road. They will then assign it to the learners. Um, but where we kind of can differentiate is we have like difficulty levels, and you can be really custom with those difficulty levels. So like the easy level is obviously going to be more accustomed to someone who's brand new to the business. They might be ramping, they might be onboarding, they could be in nesting, whereas like a more hard difficulty level is for your kind of upskilling exercises, recertification of existing agents. So that's how we can kind of be flexible for the different learning levels currently.
Got it. And then what's your vision on, you said something that, again, very interesting. Humans are going to be leading the tough conversations, right? The level one is going to be automated. We are going to have to deal with the tough conversations, right? So how tough is Solid Road's AI trainer going to become, right? How much are you going to push those agents? Anyone doing customer facing conversations, I remember back in the day in Uruguay, one of my jobs was to explain a new tax introduced on personal wealth. And I got told a lot of nasty things, right? I mean, people will
Mhm.
see me as the face of the government, like if I was putting that tax on their salaries myself and I was explaining how it worked, right? Um,
Yeah.
so in your mind, your trainer, is it going to be having those tough conversations and pushing the agent and seeing how the agent is reacting and then teaching them?
Yeah, I think it's a bit of both. Like, I think obviously pushing the agents to get better, but I think also just being that like safe space for the agent is where we're having a lot of success as well. I've talked to lots of CX teams, CX leaders, been at lots of conferences the last few months, and I've heard of different examples. We were at an event in Microsoft, and there was I can't remember who the speaker was, but basically they were saying even in their CX org at the moment, they have like a big red button because what's happening with a lot of the tickets being automated away is that they're just having really distressing conversations one after another, which takes a toll on agents. Obviously, it's a customer support, customer service is a very tough job, and that's why like I actually really love serving this customer base because they're really good people, they care, um, and so like for us, the way we're kind of looking at it is like going back to that story, like they have a big red button. They've had 5 or 6 distressing conversations. In a previous world, they might have had like a quick fix, like, oh, I've been locked out of my account, then maybe a difficult conversation, then a few easy questions. Whereas like it's really intense now, and that's tough. Like it's taking its toll. Like there's kind of the mental health that needs to be taken into consideration as well. So these people can just hit this red button and be like, I'm going for a walk for 15 minutes, I'm coming off the queue. So I think that we're up yet we want to kind of make agents better and push them, but I think also being that like safe space to be like, you know what, like we're having a lot of success, but like legislative industries, like you mentioned there, tax changes, but also like trust and safety teams, content moderation, like really difficult conversations. So we want to be there to be like, do you know what, we're going to guide you through this conversation. It's going to be really difficult, but at least you're doing it for the first time in a safe environment. It's not going to be on a live conversation with someone like, the example of, someone's car has been robbed or their house has been burgled or they've been in a car crash, like with your insurance company. Like these are really difficult conversations that people have to have. And these are human to human interactions that I believe they'll always remain human to human. And it's an interesting call it that the one thing, like, it's not like our customers are like, we want to have a binary scorecard that people have to say these 5 things in a call. Most conversations and the scorecards that people are building are really around the soft skills. Like the one thing that people are trying to test for or assess or improve in Solid Road is empathy. They know that that is going to be the differentiator. It's like if I'm going to be kind of a customer first org, yes, I'm going to have AI automation, but I'm going to have humans, and like the humans that I do have in these roles, they're going to be showing things like active listening, empathy. These are the things that people will really value, I think, in the kind of next generation of, uh, CX in general.
Definitely. How does Solid Road differentiate itself in the market? What are some of your competitors doing, and what is setting Solid Road apart from them?
Yeah, I think like there's a few. few components that what we kind of stand out from. I think one thing in particular is like really building on the latest and greatest technology. I think we have that advantage now as a kind of small early stage team with a kind of good background in kind of the support world. But then, like my co-founder Patrick, for example, his last company came through Y Combinator. He's got really close ties through kind of YC alumni that are building really great tools for like speech to text, text to speech, kind of open source LLMs. So being like really quick to move on the latest and greatest tech, whereas other kind of companies or competitors that are kind of around longer than us, they've built on like NLP, older versions of AI. So we think that that's one advantage. Another piece, and this has kind of been actually talk. I was speaking to someone recently, and it's actually come up in a few conversations. So it's actually been talked back to us. So that's kind of why I think it's a differentiator. But we're actually coming at it. We're trying to kind of tackle the kind of 360 of the life cycle of that agent. So, and where we can actually come in is also on the recruitment component. So we have a lot of people using Solid Road to assess candidates before they even start the job, because what does happen is, as you know, there's high attrition rates in BPOs and contact centers in general. A lot of that's down to managed attrition because agents will come through onboarding, they're in a classroom for 4 or 5 weeks, they think it's great, then they're brought on for their first live conversation and they're like, this is not for me, I am out of here. So being able to actually assess that, have realistic conversations as part of their interview process, it's great for assessing things like language proficiency, for empathy, how they're dealing with these customer conversations, tonality. So it's a great kind of assessment tool for recruitment as well. So we do have a lot of people using it, not just for continuous training, not just for onboarding, but really, I think the recruitment angle as well, which kind of sets us apart from the competition.
What are the limits of AI in this entire process, right? Where does Solid Road say, hey, now it's turn for someone to have a conversation to explain, right? We're giving you all of this information. How do you see that interaction, and where are humans really needed?
Yeah, it's interesting because like we're obviously still learning ourselves. So for example, the kind of the way we talk about it is like we have like a create, practice, and assess is kind of the kind of three components of the tool. Um, so we make it very easy for humans as trainers to create those simulations, like through our UI, they can auto-generate the simulations, etc., kind of feed in materials. They might have chat transcripts. So we still need the admin there to basically create the scenarios. So I think they're really important there. I think it's like humans are going to be like their jobs are going to be managing AI and the various different AI tools in their stack, and that's going to be the job as well. So I think that's a like, and you can see that some companies are really good at it. They might be using other AI tools that they're like really familiar, whereas like we do kind of guided onboarded with people. We'll watch the managers try set up the system, and it's interesting the things that they find. You're seeing them click around buttons that you're like, oh, we just take that for granted that it should be straightforward. So I think that even kind of creating the scenarios, we need to kind of the managers, the trainers, the recruiters, whoever might be in the loop there. Um, the simulation is obviously kind of completely like automated. It can be done asynchronously. And then what the interesting thing is like our scoring is all automated as well, tied to custom scorecards. But now we actually have kind of the recruiters, the managers, the kind of team leads asking for can they actually leave their own comments, because like they do agree in 99% of the time that the AI has scored it fairly. And what's great is like it takes away the subject nature of the scoring, that it's actually all coming from the one AI rather than maybe 10 different trainers who might subjectively score a call differently to different reps. Also covers 100%. So with normal QA, for example, they might only score 3 calls of that agent in a month. So you're kind of getting scored across the board. So the consistency is good, but they still want to talk back and forth and say, hey, I liked you said this, even if it's just like, congratulations, like really like what you said there. And that's stuff that like the AI misses. Like it's very, it's kind of nuanced in that regard. So I think that there's been things that we've even been surprised by, that it's like I didn't think that, you know, a confetti button for a successful conversation was as important as it is, or being able to for the manager to kind of leave their comments on the score. So I still think that yeah, there's always going to be kind of humans in the loop, and um, as I said, we still need the humans obviously to manage the system, the humans to take the simulations, and even kind of the scoring piece, which I thought would remain automated. We're trying to allow humans to comment on that as well.
There are many places where you can evolve right? I mean, you are seeing that you are as you keep growing, you are seeing opportunities everywhere, right? So what do you think about the larger field of education, and do you think Solid Road might evolve into different industries or different places, still in education, but you know, other things besides customer facing teams?
Yeah, I'm very focused on the kind of the 6 inches in front of our face. So trying to win the kind of this vertical first, and then we'll see. But definitely wouldn't be against it. Absolutely. I think that this kind of form of training is going to be useful across the board. And I think it's also another thing that when you're an early stage startup, my co-founder likes to say that like startups die from indigestion, not starvation. So it's actually taking too much on board. So being really focused from the get-go is something that we're really kind of deliberate about. So right now it is customer facing teams. I think we'll definitely move into the delivery of content will probably be the next thing, like a lightweight version of an LMS as well, and try kind of take more of the stack in the kind of training and have like AI at the core of that for customer facing teams. But yeah, if it's and I think that's a massive that's a kind of massive industry in itself. Like there could be a world where I was in San Francisco a few months ago and I was watching, myself and Patrick were sitting in Chick-fil-A and we were watching people do their training. And I was like, God, that seems even fairly outdated watching videos on an iPad. I was like, what's to say that you couldn't kind of simulate that environment speaking back and forth to customers? So customer facing teams is still very large in itself. But
Huge.
yeah, I
It is
think,
huge.
yeah, I think there's plenty of opportunities.
Um, as you were saying that, I could picture also, virtual reality headsets, and when you turn this into like, customer facing but live, then you can do the training with avatars and everything, right? And
Yeah.
it's probably happening some places. Is that part
Yeah.
of, your wildest dreams as well already, or?
Yeah, I think we were actually doing a bit of whiteboarding in our first office, which is in WeWork, and we were kind of talking about like growth trajectories. And I remember Patrick saying like, I think the Apple Vision Pro would just released that week, and it's like there's a world where this ends up being an Apple Vision Pro app where people do their training with their VR headset. So like anything is possible, and we won't be closing any doors. Um, but yeah, that would be. Yeah, if every McDonald's customer service worker was training on Solid Road, that would be the pipe dream, I think.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love what you said about indigestion instead of starvation, and so that's super important, right? It's probably your biggest job on keeping to that focus and trying to stay there, right? And not get too distracted
Yeah.
by everything that might be going on. Um, how do you leverage AI in your personal duties and your job? Do you use many tools? Which ones? How?
Yeah, I think like obviously my background is sales and we're doing very much founder-led sales and we're building out channel partnerships, etc. But like definitely there's lots of efficiencies I've gained from using different AI tools, be it for copywriting or be it for email outreach, sales automation in particular. So I know there's been a lot of kind of like AI SDRs that have gone viral. So I took demos with both 11x AI and Topo AI, and I'll probably try one of those and test one of those because I think they're kind of interesting. Um, and they kind of just automate basically LinkedIn outreach and email outreach, and they personalize it based on your ideal customer profile. So that's something that I'm looking at. And then just the various different kind of like AI bolt-on tools that are been built into large solutions like HubSpot and stuff like that of trying everything I can to kind of get time back in my day. So really it has been so far on the kind of content marketing, maybe doing some quick blog posts and then also on the sales front and the sales outreach in particular.
Perfect. Mark, one final question to you. What do you do when you are not working?
Yeah, this is a nice question to finish with. I'm a massive football fan, so I don't know if they say football or soccer in Uruguay, but hopefully they
Football,
say
football,
football.
football, football. Only soccer is only in America.
Yeah, exactly. So I still play football at a very poor level, but it still keeps me going. I'm almost 30 now, so I'm happy that I can still run around and play 11-a-side football twice a week. And I'm a big Leeds United fan. If you're familiar, my dad is from Leeds, so big game coming up on Saturday. If Ipswich Town lose on Tuesday and Leeds win on Saturday, Leeds will be back in the Premier League. So that will be very, very good news. But yeah, just football mad. Anytime I can watch it, talk about it, that is my other passion outside of work.
Beautiful. What position do you play?
Currently I am playing right mid, but I prefer to play striker. But I think that I just don't convert enough chances or score enough goals to keep my position up there. But I like because I don't like tracking back, but I like trying to score goals. So
Right,
that's my
right,
favorite
right.
position. But I don't get selected there, sadly.
Very good. Well, we live and breathe football here. I don't know if I could call it play, but I still sometimes go and play 11 aside as well. I play what would you call it? Defender, right? The two on the middle, right? And the four line, the
Okay.
one of the two in the middle. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
I destroy everything that gets created by strikers. My job is to destroy all of that. But I
Yeah,
enjoy
yeah,
it. I enjoy it at all. It's like or
yeah,
kicking the ball, super uh far away, right? It's like it's I feel pleasure in doing that.
yeah.
Um,
And at least you get to watch a good international football team play regularly as well. And also the Uruguay football manager is Marcelo Bielsa now, who used to be the Leeds United manager.
yes, yes,
So
yes,
that's
yes.
that's
We
a
have something very good in common.
that's a crossover there. But yeah, the Irish football team are not doing too well as of late, so it's been tough.
Yeah, I will say you still have rugby, but after the World Cup and everything, and the disappointment there, I had a few friends from Ireland tell me, don't even go there. Don't talk
No,
about that.
no,
Yeah.
no, exactly.
Um, Mark, this has been beautiful. I appreciate it. Thank you so much for being here, and hopefully we can do it again sometime and catch up on where Solid Road is on the amazing path that you have forged for yourselves.
Thank you very much for having me, Matteo. Really appreciate it, and speak soon.